Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? It wasn't, sir. Why are you pushing me? It wasn't, sir. Why are you pushing me?
I mean, it is literally just under 2 years ago that we had the Freedom Convoy in Canada that went through, and then the government unleashed the RCMP and police forces on our own people for a peaceful demonstration, but it was because it was about something that the government didn't like. It was questioning the authority of the government. And how dare you question the authority of this government? And just look at how Chrystia Freeland smirks almost in this video. This will shock the world and quite frankly is disgusting. The National Police Force of Canada, called the RCMP, attacked a news reporter. And this is with the backdrop of different things that Trudeau has said in the past, which I'm going to show you right now in this clip. So let's get right into it.
The only reason that I'm allowed to ask you this question is because today the federal court ruled that the government doesn't have the right to determine who is or is not a journalist. This is the second election in a row that the court had to overturn your government. Do you still insist on being able to make that decision, and why?
So this is a reporter from Rebel News that is asking Trudeau this question.
First of all, questions around accreditation were handled by the press gallery and the consortium of networks who have...
So who handles these inquiries? Bureaucrats, essentially, and central planners.
Strong perspectives on quality.
Strong perspectives on quality. I mean, what does that mean? That is Orwellian speak for we just control, essentially, what you watch and see and who is allowed to be a journalist. It's absolutely insane.
Journalism and the important information that is shared with Canadians. The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation.
And he is, of course, talking about their Rebel News. He's talking about Rebel News. And what's happened recently is, as you're going to see in this clip, a news reporter from Rebel News has been assaulted. And the RCMP, the laughable thing is, they're saying that he assaulted them. Watch this clip and you make the decision. It's absolutely insane.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group? Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? What? Excuse me. What are you doing? You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing?
You see, he literally did nothing. The RCMP walked into his way and then shoved him and said, "You're under arrest for assault." It is literally ridiculous that this is happening. But after the clip that I just played you of Trudeau, doesn't this show you the state of Canada's authoritarian dictatorship-style government that we have? I mean, Canadians did not even vote for this guy. But let's continue.
You're under arrest for assault. You're under arrest. Police, you're under arrest for assault. How am I under arrest? You bumped into me. You pushed into me. You bumped. I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here and you just bumped into me. So excuse me.
Police, you're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge? What is your name and your badge? You've been told you're
Doesn't answer, of course.
under arrest. Why am I under arrest? He blocked my way. What? I was just scrumming Chrystia Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge number?
Assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Okay, because
you assaulted me.
This is absolutely insane what is happening. And basically, David Menzies was arrested from Rebel News. And as you can see, let's just play that clip again, the start part, and you be the judge here. Was he assaulting the RCMP, or was the RCMP assaulting him? And doesn't this just show you that once again, the RCMP are not here to protect Canadians, they are here to protect the elite. I mean, it is literally just under 2 years ago that we had the Freedom Convoy in Canada that went through, and then the government unleashed the RCMP and police forces on our own people for a peaceful demonstration, but it was because it was about something that the government didn't like. It was questioning the authority of the government. And how dare you question the authority of this government? And let's just take a pause here for a second, because a lot of you are probably saying, well, Luke, why don't Canadians just stand up and oppose this authoritarian regime? Well, that's exactly what happened in 2022. And here's a brief refresher on what happened as a result of that.
We're doing everything peaceful and with love and smile. They have no ground.
What's your plan?
My plan? I park legally. This is federal land. I have my rights to protest peacefully, which I'm doing, and they have no rights. And if they violate my law, we're gonna see in the court.
If they come and tell you leave because it's finished, then what?
Finish what? Finish fighting for freedom? No, I decide when it's finished fight.
Jeff, it felt very different from yesterday, where things started out very slowly. The officers who were on the front line yesterday were just in their regular uniforms. They didn't have additional body armor or helmets on. Today, it was clear that there was a different tone being set. The officers who came out were wearing riot gear. They were on the front lines, and they were carrying large wooden batons with them, which they were using to strike people if they didn't move back when the police line moved forward.
And just look at how Chrystia Freeland smirks almost in this video. I'll play it again for you.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group?
You see that? You can almost see she's kind of smirking there. And I just find that so infuriating that these central planners and authoritarians just get away with stuff like this. This is absolutely disgusting and should not be happening in a country like Canada. But we didn't vote for this guy, and he's still in charge of the country, and that's democracy, folks. So let's continue.
Why is your government supporting Islamo-nationalism? What? Excuse me. What are you doing?
You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Who are you?
You're under arrest.
Police, you're under arrest for assault. How am I under arrest? You bumped into me.
Absolutely disgusting. And now I'm going to show you what Canada is actually doing when it comes to news, journalists, and content creators. Because you may just think that these are isolated incidents, and these are just things that have happened occasionally. I've pulled from the web, and they don't happen often, and they're not really portraying what the government is trying to achieve here. So let's actually see what the government is trying to achieve here with things like Bill C-18. So Bill C-18 essentially started a block of Canadian news. Now Google has paid CBC and a bunch of other Canadian news providers, and essentially you're seeing news on platforms like Google again, but still Facebook and Instagram users, so all Facebook and Instagram users in Canada won't be able to access news on the platform soon after parent company Meta said it would shut down news in the country over the next few weeks. The social media giant has been signaling the move since the Liberal government passed Online News Act Bill C-18 in June. Google may follow suit. And they did, but they eventually came to an agreement with the government to pay them. And where does this money go? It goes to the state propaganda news networks that receive massive subsidies from governments like the Liberal government. And once again, I want to highlight, because many of you out there in other countries are probably thinking, who voted for this clown Trudeau? Who voted these people in? Because you believe, like many, that Canada is actually a democracy. But I'm here to tell you, Canada is not a democracy. In fact, what generally happens is we have the choice between two parties. If you vote for any other party, they're not getting anywhere. So you have the choice between two parties, and Trudeau actually lost the popular vote. He got around 42% of votes. He formed a minority government, and then he basically partners with the separatists, Quebecois, and also the NDP, the far left, to get things passed. Things like Bill C-11, which nobody asked for in Canada. I mean, look at this article from the BBC. Bill C-11, why YouTube is mad at Canada. A new law that seeks to give Canadian artists a leg up online has left many influencers and tech giants alike seeing red. And this is creeping authoritarianism, guys. This is exactly what this is all about. It's creeping authoritarianism. And they say, oh yeah, you know, it's all about you. We're just trying to help you. We just want to be able to tell you what you can see, because we, the government, we know better than you do. And Trudeau is literally just waiting to seize the crisis, in my opinion, for a crisis event to happen. And then once again, you will see this enforced on everybody. Right now, they're saying that platforms like YouTube are not going to be regulated, but it's a matter of time, in my opinion, before that that changes. That's exactly why I've been promoting VPNs on this channel so much. So it's absolutely insane what is going on. So the law dubbed Bill C-11 gives the Canadian Radio and Television and Telecommunications Commission, CRTC, a government entity, a bunch of bureaucrats essentially, broad authority to regulate these platforms much like they already do with radio and television. The government says it is necessary to stop streaming giants from getting a free ride and to promote local artists. Again, they're coming forward and saying it's to do with you. We're just trying to help you. We're just trying to help out the content creators. So why are the content creators crying out? And it's because YouTube and platforms like this have already voiced their concerns on what it's going to do. So YouTube took out ads in Toronto's subway system decrying the bill. You've got to remember here, YouTube is based in California. It's pretty much on the left side of the field anyway. And you've got YouTube, which has come out, took out ads. They've literally paid for ads decrying this bill. So what does that tell you about what is happening here on how far left Canada is actually going, which they said would take power away from viewers and creators and put it in the hands of bureaucrats? Because essentially what will happen is the government can change the algorithm to view more Canadian content, as they say, but it can only be approved content. So that means outfits like Rebel News, outfits like myself, we can never do anything anymore. And essentially we're just blacklisted off the web. Nobody can see our content anymore. And not only that, it also screws up the algorithm, because the algorithm is very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate it, but basically what it does is if you click on a video, it will try and show you videos like that video. So if it shows you a video and you don't click on that video, then it doesn't show you more of those videos. So you can see how this can work in reverse if it's showing it to lots of people that don't want to see your content. And this is exactly what this would do, and that could make your video poorly perform essentially, because videos are basically just watched by the audience. The audience decides how many views it gets. The audience decides which channels do well, and that is how I believe it should be. It should be us. It should be us collectively deciding who we want to watch, and not the government coming in and deciding that we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and actually passing laws and regulations to do such things. And you've got to remember, guys, they're doing this. These have been passed now. This has actually happened, and it's just a matter of time, like I said, for Trudeau to actually seize the crisis. Now, if you're looking for a VPN from a company that isn't woke and is based offshore, then use the VPN that I use, which is expressvpn.com/marketmania, to get around Trudeau's authoritarian censorship laws. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.